Hey kids, this is Jack, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Planet Zoo. This is the single-serving zoo. This is part 3 of my Aardvark habitat zoo. As you can see, I did some not really major, I did some minor, really, decoration off camera. Specifically, I worked on these particular rock formations here. I'm going to lower them just a little so they don't interfere with the path. And I completed the fence, because to be honest, those parts of it were kind of tedious, and I knew they'd be boring to watch since it took like half an hour just to get them to work. But otherwise, I haven't done much with the zoo since the last session, because naturally I want to complete it on camera. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a couple more facilities, and we're going to finish decoration, and we're just going to generally, make it a pretty facility. Now, this is the only habitat that I intend to include in this zoo, and there's one of our aardvarks right now. Aren't they just adorable? Aardvarks are adorable. They are. That's an adorable animal. Anyway, but I had plans to include an exhibit animal, plus I wanted to add a couple more shops, and, generally just finish with this zoo. It shouldn't take very long, to be brutally honest, because we've already finished up most of the major construction. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to deal with the park bench situation. There's specifically the park bench situation is that there are none, but we want them, and I'm going to use this bench from the African set. I'm going to put down a couple of park benches just to give people a place to sit and rest. Now, don't ever, when you're doing this game, when you're playing this game, don't ever be afraid to include park benches, because believe me, your guests will thank you. And also, they're convenient for placing the trash cans. Here and here. I put those a little close, but you know what? That's okay. Hold on a second. Let me grab this. Okay. And when you're doing something like a franchise zoo, or even a sandbox zoo like this one, you will get notices every once in a while that, heavy litter, which means you're going to have to put down trash cans. There's an interesting story, and it turns out to be absolutely true, that back when he was first building the Disneyland park, Walt Disney had no idea how many trash cans they'd need. So, they basically made a guess, and it turned out that they had an early on in the days of Disneyland, they had a litter problem because people were just throwing the trash on the ground, and that was unacceptable to Walt Disney because, of course, it destroyed the ambiance of the park and how well the park looked, and it was just, this was just ridiculous. How dare they? And now that is a big building. I wanted to see what this was, and I did, and I think it's an exhibit house, but this is a huge building. I have no plans whatsoever to actually add it to the... Yeah, wow. Actually add it, but I wanted to see what the blueprint was. Now, back to the story. So, it destroyed the ambiance of Disneyland in Walt Disney's mind, that there'd be all this garbage all over the floor or all over the ground. So what he did was he actually commissioned some of his cast members to literally follow people around in the park. They would find somebody, it's like, okay, well, let's this random person that we just spotted is about to buy some popcorn. Popcorn is okay, let them buy their popcorn, and they have a drink. Good, they've got a drink and they've got some popcorn. So let's follow them around and find out just uh, just how much how much space these people are willing to travel. How far will these guys go before they abandon the idea of a trash can and just dump their crap on the ground. And what they found out was that the average distance a person is willing to walk between trash cans is about 30 feet. And that's not very far at all. So when you are busy making your zoos, remember that you can't have too many trash cans, because every 30 feet, geez, that's nothing. So, put in a lot of park benches, put in a lot of trash cans, and it just will improve the quality of your zoos. If nothing else, it'll improve the cleanliness of your zoos. And improving the cleanliness of your zoos improves your guests' attitudes. Okay, this won't let me get any closer. Oh, you know what? I bet you if I bring this in. Here we go. No? You don't want to go in? How about there? Will you go in there? All right. But yeah, a clean zoo is a happy zoo, as they say. So, don't be afraid to include a lot of trash cans and benches. Something else that I'm planning on doing with this is I don't know. I'll be honest. I do not know for certain where the tunnels, what the extent of the tunnels are. But I know that this general line right here, with this shop here and this tree here, is a good place to assume where the tunnels are. So I can tighten this. I can tighten the borders of this particular habitat a lot without causing any inadvertent false escape alarms. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. It's not that important that I have, really, really tight borders here, but I did want to tighten some of them up because there's some things I want to do that involve decoration. And of course, if I end up with some false alarms about escapes, it's basically because I've misestimated where those tunnels go. But that's the only actual difficulty in building something like this, where you've got tunnels. Now, nature. I got to tell you, there's one of the secrets of this game is that basically the animals, supposedly don't like when plants that are not found in their own continental areas are present in their habitats. But the truth is, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Okay, so the animal is disgruntled. That's actually something that's unrealistic. We have a zoo local to where I live that that possesses, among other things, some Bengal tigers. Well, the Bengal tigers are kept in an enclosure that mostly has vegetation that's from Florida. It's got scrub oaks and um, pine trees and things like that. Other uh, other plants that just aren't found in India and Tibet and Nepal, where the Bengal tiger is found naturally. And believe me, the tigers don't mind. The tigers in the habitat local have adapted to plants that they are not native to because why wouldn't they? You know, why wouldn't they? So that's the one part of the game that I kind of scoff at. The idea that animals get disgruntled when presented with plants that are not part of their native home habitat. Because I assure you, if you were to let a group of aardvarks loose in, say, Kansas and Nebraska, and they got a chance to entrench themselves, they're not going to have any predators out there except humans. And I assure you that they will adapt to the plants and other animals that are present in Kansas and Nebraska. They would have to adapt to eating other types of insects because there's not as heavy a termite presence. But doesn't mean they won't be able to find ants. Nor does it mean that they'd suddenly freak out because they'd be confronted with an oak tree. Anyway, that's my rant, and I'm sorry for ranting. That was stupid. Hold on a second. Nope, I don't want to... Yeah, there. Just wanted a little garden area. Let me see. Blueprints. Blueprints. Who's got the blueprints? These are my blueprints. African. Yeah, beehive. Here we go. This is just a pleasant addition. It doesn't actually do anything. It's certainly not functional, but it's a beehive, and it's surrounded by flowers and plants. So, what else did we need? Probably some education would be nice. Some education boards. Let's see. Okay, where did my... dang it, I hate when that happens. I do like this and my cursor disappears and it stays disappeared. That's very bad. All right. Now, don't neglect, when you're doing this, never neglect your education facilities because your guests love them. And having a lack of education facilities, and that's these signs and such, makes them less happy, believe it or not. So always remember to include them. What are we going to do? We're going to do deforestation. Deforestation is an important topic. Now, I'm not including donation bins because, to be brutally honest, I've got an unlimited budget. I don't need donation bins. That said, I am going to include animal education signs, and There are a lot of them out there, and I really like some of them that are all pre-made. I don't, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said I'm probably going to use some blueprints, because there's absolutely nothing wrong, for one thing, especially if you want to use a fancy pants education sign like this one, or one of the ones that somebody else has made. Give it a try building your own. I've built several of my own, and they do work out. And if I happen to use somebody else's, like this one here, I do believe this one was created by Haribo, maybe. Anyway, he's a brilliant creator when it comes to making things, and his workshop is a definite resource you should avail yourself to. But remember to give it give it a try yourself. Don't be afraid to try and make something that looks cool. And if it's not as cool as someone who's been doing it for years, don't give up, because the only way you improve is by doing it yourself. So, feel free to make use of the workshop items. But every once in a while, you should try doing it yourself. And the reason I'm using them right now, the reason I'm using the pre-made educational items, is because I like the look, and I like the effect that they're giving to my zoo. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. There. One more. I'm putting the last one over here. Pull it forward just a little. There we go. Okay. And let's see. Let's put that one here. Just a little. There we go. Okay. All right, I've got a garden. Right. Now, I don't normally over decorate areas which are basically empty, but at the same time, I want to have. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. My voice is going. Wow, I just heard myself. At the same time, I want to have something there that isn't. What is this? Oh, now that's interesting. I want to have something there to cover just the empty areas. And, in some cases, I'll use additional blueprints like this. This is a pretty, I was bouncing among the blueprints, and I was like, what is this? What is this one? What is this one? Because sometimes I'll grab something, and I'll forget that I'll have it. I'll subscribe to it. But specifically, I was looking at my own blueprints. Blueprints that I myself have put up on the workshop. And, you know, I've got a couple of friends who are also builders and veteran veteran Planet Zoo players, and they're like, you know, well, you know, the blueprints are a little bit like cheating. Well, not if it's your own blueprint. You know, if it's your own blueprint, do what you want with it. So anyway, okay. What do we got over here? What were those shops? These were, I think it's a drink shop and a hot dog shop. Yeah, Gulpy Soda, and they don't have a vendor. So what we need is a vendor. There you go. There's your vendor. Okay. All right, so facilities. And we got food shop. Let's get a souvenir shop. Now I did use this shell right here for that right there, and I'm going to use it again. That right there. I meant this, the food thing. You know what I mean. Sorry, that was an in-joke. If you've ever watched Rudy Rinkamel, you know, he once had he once had difficulty explaining himself, and I think it was because he was trying to explain it in English, and he himself is a native German speaker. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the German language or a native German speaker who only speaks English as a second language having trouble explaining something in English. It's understandable. But I thought that little that little outburst of his was actually kind of fun. Anyway, you know, sometimes I have the same difficulty, and I'm a perfectly fluent speaker of English, so it can happen to anybody, right? Let's pause this. Okay, and that's a hat fantastic, and then I want an information booth on this side, like that. And I want another set of bathrooms right here. We're going to use the same design, the same blueprint right here. I'm going to back them off just a touch, because here's what I want to do. All right, so now I need paths. I'm going to use this path. I'm going to make it small. I'm going to align it to this grid. Terrain too uneven. That means it's on top of a tunnel. Okay, that I'm going to have to move this trash can and this bench. Nothing wrong with moving it. These are easily, you know, it's easily adaptable. Path. There. Okay. For whatever reason, the path does not want to go over the tunnel. That's all right. That's okay. We're going to put this down here, I think. And we're going to add this to it. Now, I have a blueprint that I've already created that basically does what I'm doing now, but this costs nothing, so I'll just do it that way. And there we go. It's a covered, a little covered seat. Let me see. Now I need some more plants. Let me look around. Now, the neat thing about the Grassland map is that no matter where you put it, even if you say your grassland is in North America, it gives you African plants. African plants that are just not found anywhere in North America. But hey, howdy, you decided grassland, so guess what? You're getting grassland, and it's going to be the African grassland, even if what you're trying to replicate is the plains of Iowa. Okay. So let's see. Plants. Candelabra bush? Sure, why not? And we don't need really any more baobabs. But reeds and elephant grass are immensely useful for filling some space. And it's all grassland. I mean, you may notice I don't even have the continent triggered. But I also want, what you can do is you can also put in the desert and the temperate. Let's kill the blueprints. And it presents you with some other very interesting looking plants that still fit the general biome. They're not exact. But they do look neat. And there's nothing wrong with neat. Neat's something that you want to go for. Now, granted, putting an elm tree next to a baobab tree is not exactly what's found in nature, but that's okay. You want the visible parts of your habitat, and that's this ring here, That's this ring here looking like Africa. But this part doesn't have to be. Just doesn't have to be. So, I'm going to put a couple of trees just to give some coverage. And then we'll have some plants on the ground just to make it look pretty. And we don't have to cover every single square inch. We really don't. Now, there's one more thing, one last thing, because we're almost done with this. Believe it or not, we are almost done. There's one last thing that I want to do. One last thing. And that's this. We're going to add a facility, an animal. And I do believe, let's see. Oh no, there's an idea. How big is it? Oh, it's too big. Never mind. I was thinking, we could always do a multiple exhibit. No, we're just going to do the single one. Yeah, we'll do this. So, I'm going to put it out here. There we go. Terrain modification failed. How about that? Okay, that terrain modification did not fail. So, again, I'm going to use the path. We're going to go all the way around this thing. Now, wonder if it's going to let me. Yes. This is looking great. Okay. Deselect grid to get a connection. I want a T-junction. There we go. Good enough. That is good enough. Okay, now let's request an exhibit animal. And given that this is, we've been basically doing an African park, what I want here is the Goliath frog, a nice classic African animal. Goliath frogs are a fantastic African animal. And they're relatively popular too. And so you can add them to your zoo. And it just, they work. You know, if I had to pick a nice, low maintenance exhibit animal to include in one of these, you could do. Oh, I got the hiccups for some reason. Oh my gosh, hold on, let me get a drink. You could do a lot worse than including Goliath frogs. You could do a lot worse. All right. Let me know what's happening on Jupiter and Mars. Remember I told you the other day about Perry Como songs? Well, there you go. I still have Perry Como songs in my head. Fly me to the moon. I want to dance among the stars. Let me know what's happening on Jupiter and Mars. I know I don't have the greatest singing voice, but that's all right. Let's get these heroic amphibians down to better living conditions. Let's say 80, and I'm not sure exactly, but I'm going to try 30. Okay, all of these are open. And let's go. Let's see if this works. Their welfare immediately increases. Okay, 32, 31, 30. Yes, right on the money. Yay, how about that? Am I good or am I good, guys? All right. Now, the last thing we want to do is put some plants in here and I'm going to make this a thing, okay? This is going to be immensely cool. Trust me. Okay, window, 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 window. And then another one of these. Okay. Uh-huh. And another window. While we're at it, we'll put a window here, and then all right, and I need, what do I need? I need an arch or a door. I'll use the arch. The wider the... All right, now, roof. Thatch. All right, let's bring this up. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, we'll just put these at the corner. Now, originally I was going to surround this by plants, but then I said, you know what? No, we'll put in a building. It'll be cool. That's not quite matching up. But you know what? That's all right. We will deal. You know what? No. Okay, we're not going to put thatched. Apparently, we're not going to put thatched, what you call it. That's all right. frog. Oh, okay. I want it the other way. It won't let me. Spinny frog, spinny frog. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, let's. These are recolorable, so let's do that. How about that? Nice, mild green. Okay, and we'll put a little. Put some plants. Around it. Yeah, I know this isn't North America, but you know what? I don't care. Because they look pretty, and I just want the space to be covered with pretty plants. And let me see. There. Okay. Well, we've added the frogs. We've got our aardvark exhibit. We've got our aardvark habitat. We've got some shops for people to visit. We've got food stands. We've got education. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a completed single-size zoo. Thank you very, very much for watching. I had a great time making this thing. I love putting zoos together. This was fun. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing here, by all means, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. I could always use more subscribers. Everybody could use more subscribers. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And it tells us that you appreciate what we're doing. While you're out and about, folks, please be careful. Please be careful. And be kind to one another. Definitely be kind. I know why you're stressed, Fabio. It's because there's a crowd. That's okay. I made you a cave. You can hide. So, like I said, be kind, because kindness costs nothing, but it can change the world. I will see you folks in the next episode. Bye-bye.